So last month, my friends and I completed the White Rim Trail in my Rivian R1T and a couple other vehicles. And we all made fun of my one friend. He bought a Ecoflow Wave 3. It's a portable air conditioner to air condition his tent. Now, we didn't power it off the Rivian on the trail because we were concerned about battery. So he actually brought a Ecoflow Delta Pro 3, I believe, and powered it off of that. But that kind of got the gears turning in my head. And this is kind of a nice unit if you want a glamp and you want a little air conditioning or heat. So I want to know how many miles of range I'm going to lose overnight if I run the Ecoflow for 8 hours. Today we're in my garage. It is a climate controlled garage. I have the temperature set to about 86 degrees. And this will not be the most scientific test, but we'll run the Ecoflow for a couple hours and see what kind of battery loss we get. Okay, so we're in the truck now. Truck is at 50% battery, 142 miles of projected EPA range. If we go into energy monitor, this is the charge session from when I last plugged it in. Since then, it's used just under 1 kilowatt of power. So we'll take that 0.7 and have it be our baseline and have it be since parked. All right, so normally when I'm camping, I go into camping mode, go into camp courtesy, turn that on, it turns off proximity locking, the sounds, and the exterior lights. And we also need to have the outlets on. We'll put them on a, let's say, 10-hour timer. And normally I would go manage energy and I would hit stay off. However, I need the outlets to stay on. If you go to stay off, it'll tell you a little warning about what it's going to power down. So we will do stay on. It'll keep power, displays, and climate on. Now, I don't need the displays on from now on. I'll turn them off in a second. We'll just go to this energy page one last time. It's 0.7 kilowatts since parked. And we'll go back to the camping page. Whoops. We'll go back to camping and shut the displays off. All right, so we got the Ecoflow going. And I've opened up the Ecoflow app here real quick. So we've got the target temp set to 60. That's as low as it goes. And I have the fan on 3 out of 5. Believe that 77 degrees is the intake temperature and the 56 is its output temp. 38% humidity in here. So right now it looks like it's using about 240, 230 watts. And I'll keep the automatic drainage on. That should be good to go. It is in cool mode. I should also run a test in heat at some point, but we're in the summer in Arizona still. It's still hot here, so I'll wait until winter time or until I can get out to somewhere cold for that. Now, one thing I wish the Rivian did have was a cutoff. Like, if I could say when the truck hits 30% battery, shut the outlets off, that would be awesome. But I do not believe that is a feature right now. And if it's in the works, great. If not, just got to pre-plan a little bit. We've just hit the 4-hour mark on the test. As far as the Ecoflow app goes, everything's looking pretty much the same as when we started. 350 watts of power right now. And that's about where it's been this whole test. I've looked a few times and it was down to like 200, 250 watts, but it is a heat pump, so that will vary. Now let's go, I guess we can go shut this off and see what the truck's doing. So we started with 50% battery, and I believe it was 147 miles of range. Now we're at 48% battery, and let's go energy. So we used 3 kilowatts over 4 hours, 140 miles. So we killed about 7 miles of range, and that 3 kilowatts is about correct. See if I can pull up this trip odometer. This is the lifetime trip odometer on my truck. So I averaged just over 2 miles per kilowatt hour, and we just used 3. So we ate about 6 miles of range or 2% battery. So running this for 8 hours, 12 miles, maybe 4%, 3-4% battery is going to vary. but let's call it 12 miles. Even if you round up to 15 miles of range, 16 for easy math, that's 8 kilowatts. That's not too horrible. Now what's interesting, energy monitor. So 3.7 total, only 1.9 was used on the outlets, 1.7 was used on the vehicle. That's probably the truck just keeping the high voltage contactor closed so it can top off the 12 volt battery.